thank you so much for joining us for another edition of All Angles. I'm Dion Jackson Miller. Now, later in the program, we'll be talking with broadcaster Miss Kitty about her recent bout with COVID-19. But first, earlier today, Agriculture Minister Floyd Green resigned from the cabinet after a video was posted on social media showing him and Council Andrew Bellamy, Mr. Green's aide, and some others partying on a no-movement day. Now, Mr. Green posted this video on his social media pages this afternoon.
No movement there.
Where's the Jeff?
Post it tomorrow.
They can't do all of them stuff. We need them bad.
She can do it. Belly last week. No movement there.
Where's the Jeff?
Post it tomorrow.
They can't do all of them stuff. We need them bad.
Okay, my apologies. That, of course, was a video which went viral last night showing Mr. Green and others partying. And let's go now to the statement that Mr. Green posted on his social media pages.
Since entering representational politics, I've tried to ensure that my work speaks for me. I'll approach each task diligently and honestly, and I've treated everybody with respect. I know a number of you are disappointed. I've disappointed my family, my constituency, my Prime Minister, and my country. And for that, I am sorry. I made a grave error of judgment. I was wrong, especially at a time when we are fighting to keep the COVID-19 pandemic under control. And as such, I met with the Prime Minister earlier and withdrew from the cabinet. I know I will have to work doubly as hard to regain your trust and your confidence, but I'm committed to do that and to serve the people of St. Elizabeth Southwestern. I am sorry, and I apologize unreservedly to my family, my Prime Minister, my colleagues, but more importantly, I apologize to the people of Jamaica.
Now, who is Floyd Green? Kalisha Williams takes a look at his background.
Before entering politics, Floyd Green, a St. Elizabeth native and Monroe College past student, was a practicing attorney. Then in 2012, he was appointed president of the Young Professional Affiliate of the Jamaica Labour Party Generation 2000. In 2016, he entered representational politics, defeating the PNP's Hugh Buchanan by just over 2,000 votes to take the St. Elizabeth Southwest constituency for the JLP.
In the first 100 days, the Jamaica Labour Party government will start the process to ensure that politicians can be impeached. We will ensure that we have a fixed election date. Prime ministers will only serve for a set term. This is our commitment to you.
That same year, 34-year-old Green was the youngest person appointed as state minister by Prime Minister Andrew Holness.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very excited about this allocation because chief among the projects that we are to start this year is to develop our long talked about therapeutic center, Mr. Speaker.
In 2019, Floyd Green was moved to the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries as State Minister. In the last general election in September 2020, Green was again successful in southwestern St. Elizabeth, defeating the PNP's Ewan Stevenson by just over 2,000 votes. Soon after, he got his biggest position yet in his political career, Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries.
I, Floyd Green, being appointed minister, do swear that I will, to the best of my judgment, at all times when so required, freely give my counsel and advice to the Governor General or any other person for the time being lawfully performing the functions of that office.
Today, just a week after the JLP celebrated the one-year anniversary of its 2020 election victory, Mr. Green has resigned from the cabinet. Kalisha Williams for All Angles.
Okay, so remember, you can participate in the program. You can WhatsApp us. It's 381-0072. That's 876-381-0072. You can also tweet me. It's DJ Miller JA, and our hashtag is TVJ All Angles. Joining me now to discuss the developments of the past 24 hours, we have social commentator Saeed Bernard. Also with us, tutor in the Department of Government at the University of the West Indies, Stephen Gardner, and Glenroy Murray is with us as well, tutor in Constitutional Law at the University of the West Indies. It's great to have you all. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so let me ask you first, was a resignation necessary? Glenroy Murray, I hear some people saying he could have been suspended, he could have been chastised, he could have apologized, but why is a resignation necessary?
I think this has been the most difficult question for a lot of us to answer. I think what I can say, or what I will say, is that in the context of what was shown in the video and what was said in the video, which is the kind of mocking celebration of flouting the laws by a minister, I can understand why a resignation, especially with all of the surrounding issues, with convincing Jamaicans to adhere to protocols and the impact that non-adherence to protocols is having on the spread of COVID-19, and also the impact that the spread of COVID-19 is having on lives and livelihoods and businesses. In that broader context, I can understand why a resignation particularly seemed appropriate. But I do wonder if it's a missed opportunity. In how we treat with the misadventures that various members of government take.
Yeah, because you sound very unsure there. You kind of sound like you don't think a resignation was necessary.
I understand why it happened, but I think a resignation forecloses a broader conversation. I think it's the bloodletting that needs to happen to appease the masses. It's performative. So what will happen is that, well, what has happened, he resigns, and so we stop having the conversation. He's resigned, we're happy. He's being hailed almost as a martyr for new wave of politics. And then we don't get to see the work that he will have to do in order to correct the wrongs that he's committed, right? And I think that's what happens when, as soon as there's misbehavior on the part of a cabinet member, that the first response is resignation. You don't get to see their journey, if there is in fact a journey. And that's why, even though I understand why it happened, and maybe it was necessary in this circumstance, I think it's a missed opportunity, potentially.
All right, I'm going to come back to that because there's a whole heap in that. But Stephen, what's your take?
My take is that it probably is necessary. And I'll say it's necessary because of Mr. Glenroy would have alluded to the fact that Jamaica is having a very difficult time in understanding the context in which we live now, which is COVID. And I said this to my friends today: heavy is the head that wears a crown. And you, as that form part of the leadership of the country, must recognize that you have a role to play in the education of people. And your image and what you do will come into scrutiny every time you do something. And so I think it's necessary for him to resign to teach people in general of Jamaica who are having a difficult time understanding the grave situation that we are facing with COVID at this time, that it's not something that we should trifle with. It's not something that should be taken lightly. It's not something that we should mock. And therefore, we must have everyone learn and understand. And if that means someone who is as close to me as a cabinet member, then you must learn.
What about you, Saeed?
I think it was necessary. As a matter of fact, I think the countries that have, in my view, a better system of governance and accountability, for example, New Zealand, David Clark had to resign when he flouted the rules there. In the United Kingdom, the minister broke social media protocols. He had to resign as well. And there are other examples as this as well. And so, unfortunately, it is Floyd Green that has fallen martyr to flouting the rules, unfortunately, because he is a good minister. I will give him that. But at the end of the day, accountability is accountability. And I think the resignation being called for and the resignation being done was quite frankly necessary. And so I understand what Glenroy is saying as well, but I think his journey has not ended. I think this is a hiccup for him that he should grow from, in my view, will grow from. And it will also show the Jamaican public that you take accountability for your actions, as he has done, by resigning and by apologizing. And then he continues to move forward. And the Prime Minister has said in a press release that he will be utilizing Floyd in other areas.
Hold that one. We're going to come back to that. Before we're going to break, but before we go to the break, this is what the leader of the opposition had to say in reaction to the resignation of Mr. Green.
We feel that this was a necessary step, and we don't think he really had any choice in the matter, given what took place and the extreme negative reaction of the society to what took place. That you have to set an example for everyone, and partying night after night or however often, in circumstances where the people are under curfew and people are supposed to be off the road, it is not right. If he learns that lesson, I think that everyone deserves a second chance, but there must be an appropriately long period of time to show that this is not just a facade, his resignation, but is indeed proper accountability for what happened.